Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. You guys sent us this interesting YouTube video called 15 personas que ganaron la lotería pero perdieron de todo. It's from the channel Doc Tops.
Okay.
Basically, we're going to be looking at the stories of lottery winners who ended up losing everything.
Oh, wow.
It kind of makes you wonder, like, is winning the lottery all it's cracked up to be?
Yeah, it definitely makes you think these stories are like, they're full of warnings,
Yeah.
not just about making bad money decisions, but also about what happens like inside your head when you suddenly get a bunch of money.
Right.
And like how that affects your relationships and stuff.
Yeah, like winning millions would be awesome, but what happens after you like pop the champagne?
Right.
Like that's what we're going to look at today.
Yeah.
So the video starts with this guy, Michael Carroll, a garbage collector from the UK.
Okay.
He won something like $15 million back in 2002 and he was only 19.
Oh, wow. 19.
Yeah, so he like went on this insane spending spree, parties, cars, you name it. Sadly, within 5 years, he was totally broke.
Wow.
He even tried to get his old job back.
Oh, no. I know, right?
It's like what psychologists call the instant gratification trap, you know? Our brains just like want that pleasure and reward. So when you suddenly have all that money,
Yeah.
it's like super hard to resist those urges, you know what I mean?
Right.
So Carol's story kind of shows us how important it is to have like a plan.
Yeah.
A financial strategy, even maybe some emotional support before something huge like this happens.
Makes total sense. It's like, those times when you're at the grocery store and you just buy whatever looks good?
Yeah, totally.
Imagine if you could buy anything you wanted. It'd be the same thing, but with way more money.
Exactly. And that's just with like a little bit of money. Now imagine that with millions of dollars.
Wow. Yeah.
The consequences are way worse if you make a bad choice. Okay, I get it. So a plan is super important. But the video also shows how money can mess up relationships. Not always in a good way. Like there's this couple, Laura and Robert Griffiths from the UK.
Okay.
They won a ton of money, but ended up getting divorced like 6 years later.
Oh, wow.
They bought a fancy house, a Porsche, but they just stopped talking to each other.
Oh, so sad.
The video even mentioned a fire that burned down their house. Like, that's just crazy.
Wow, that's intense. Money can be like a magnifying glass for relationship problems.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Like if there's already some resentment or insecurity or like you don't really trust each other, suddenly having all that money just makes it way worse.
It's like throwing gasoline on a fire, right? Things are going to blow up.
Exactly. It's a perfect analogy.
I've seen those reality shows where couples win a house or a lot of money and then they start fighting all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
It seems like the pressure from that much money can really break up even the strongest couples.
Yeah, no doubt. It adds a whole other layer of stress. And then when you add things like, one person secretly spending money or hiding stuff, it creates like a breeding ground for not trusting each other. The Griffiths, they're a sad example that money can't buy happiness.
Yeah, it's true.
Sometimes it just leads to heartbreak.
You know what they say? Money can't buy happiness, but it can buy a really nice yacht to cry on.
That's fine.
So we've seen how sudden wealth can cause people to spend too much, how it can mess up relationships. The video also talks about the dangers that can come with winning a lot of money.
Okay.
Like this woman, Ibi Ronchioli from Canada, she won millions but didn't tell her husband.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he found out and ended up poisoning her.
Oh my God, that's awful.
I know, super dark. It just shows how important it is to be honest and trust each other, especially in a marriage.
Right.
Keeping secrets, especially about money, is like a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
And when you add in things like greed and wanting to control everything, things can get really bad.
Yeah.
It reminds us that even if you have good intentions, keeping money secrets can really backfire.
For sure.
It's like a good reminder that talking to your partner is key, especially if one person suddenly has a lot more money.
Yeah, definitely.
Speaking of that, the video also shows a bunch of stories of young people who won and weren't really ready for it.
Oh, I bet.
Like Callie Rogers from the UK.
Okay.
She won millions when she was only 16.
16. Oh my gosh.
That's a perfect example of why you need to know about money and have people to support you.
Totally.
Imagine being a teenager with millions of dollars. You're still figuring things out, making decisions, and suddenly, bam, you have all these choices and opportunities.
Yeah.
It could be a disaster if you don't have someone to guide you.
That's true.
It makes me think about all those child actors who make tons of money and then end up with problems later.
Yeah, for sure.
It's kind of the same thing. Suddenly you're famous and rich.
Yeah.
It can be too much for anyone.
It's like the spotlight is blinding you.
Right.
And there's so much pressure to keep up with all the money and the success.
Exactly.
Roger's story really shows how important it is to have good people around you. Mentors, financial advisors,
Yeah.
people who can help you handle the money and protect you from getting taken advantage of.
It's like you need a money guardian angel to help you make good choices.
That's a good way to put it.
But even with the best help, some people just can't hold on to their money.
Well, hold on a second. Before we get ahead of ourselves,
Okay.
there's this other story in the video.
Okay.
It's about Evelyn Adams, this woman who won the lottery twice.
Twice?
Twice. Yeah. She won over $5 million.
Oh my gosh. She must have been set for life.
You'd think so, right?
Yeah.
But get this, she gambled it all away.
What? Really?
Yeah. At a casino in Atlantic City. Now she's living in a trailer park.
Oh, wow.
It's a stark reminder that even if you're super lucky,
Yeah.
bad choices can lead to losing everything.
It's kind of like, what do they call it? The house money effect.
Right.
When people win money, they're more likely to be reckless with it. Like it's not really theirs.
Yeah, it's like they feel invincible, like they can't lose. But that can lead to risky choices and, bad consequences.
Like they forget that the money has value because they didn't work for it.
Exactly. It becomes play money.
Right.
And it can disappear really fast.
Okay. I'm definitely not as jealous of lottery winners anymore.
I hear ya. These stories really open your eyes, don't they?
They do.
But before we get too bummed out,
Okay.
remember, there's more to this whole thing. We've just scratched the surface. We still need to dig deeper into how winning affects people's minds.
Right.
The importance of understanding money, and maybe even look at some stories of people who actually made a good life after winning.
Okay. Yeah. I'm curious about that. I'm ready to go deeper. Let's look at another story from the video.
Okay.
It's about how winning the lottery can change things with your family and friends.
All right. Let's talk about Sharon Tirabassi.
Okay.
She won $10.5 million back in 2004.
Wow.
And at first, she was living the dream. Big house, fancy cars, designer clothes, the whole 9 yards.
Wow.
She even helped out her family and friends. But just 10 years later, she was back to riding the bus and working part-time jobs.
Oh, no.
All her money was gone.
Wow, what a wild ride. From millionaire to almost broke in 10 years. What happened? Was it just spending too much or something else?
It was a bunch of things. Lavish parties, expensive vacations, and she loaned money to family and friends that they never paid back.
Yeah, wow.
It seems like she was trying to please everyone, spreading the wealth around instead of investing it or making a plan.
It sounds like she felt like she had to share her winnings with everyone.
Exactly. That's a really common trap for lottery winners.
Yeah.
They suddenly have to be the generous one, and it can be too much pressure.
Right.
It's important to remember that you're allowed to say no.
Mm.
You have to take care of yourself first.
It's like they say on airplanes, put on your own oxygen mask before helping others.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, you can't help anyone if you're struggling to breathe yourself.
Exactly. You need to make sure you're financially secure first.
Okay, so boundaries and making a financial plan are really important. But the video also has stories of people who lost their money because of bad investments.
Oh, yeah.
Or even scams. Like Vivian Nicholson, who won in Great Britain back in 1961. She spent her winnings on fancy clothes, big parties, and what they call in the video, bad business deals. Years later, she had no job and was struggling financially.
Oh, no.
She never got back even a small amount of what she won.
That's so sad. It just shows how important it is to have good financial advice. And to be able to spot the difference between a good opportunity
Right.
and a scam.
Yeah, like that saying, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Exactly. And when you suddenly become a millionaire, everyone and their dog has a can't-miss idea.
Yeah, for sure.
It's super important to have financial advisors and lawyers who can help you make smart decisions.
Like, you need a money bodyguard to protect you from all the sharks.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've learned about reckless spending, relationship problems, legal fights, and even danger. It's starting to feel like winning the lottery is more of a curse than a blessing.
You're telling me.
Are there any stories in the video that give us some hope? People who manage to handle their winnings well and actually make a good life for themselves.
You know what? You're right. Even though this video is focused on cautionary tales, there are actually a lot of lottery winners who did things right, invested their money wisely,
Okay.
and used it to make a positive impact on their lives and communities.
That's a relief. It's like we've been staring at the dark side of the moon for so long, it's time to turn the telescope around and see if there's some light.
Exactly. We need to keep things balanced. In the next part of our deep dive, we'll shift gears.
Oh.
We'll look at what happens inside people's heads when they win the lottery. The challenges and opportunities. We'll also touch on the importance of being mentally and emotionally prepared. Because, as we've seen, winning the lottery isn't just about money, it's about managing your whole life.
Okay, I'm ready for some positivity. Let's explore that psychological side of things and see what we can learn.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of lottery winners. Like we said, let's look at what happens inside people's heads when they hit the jackpot.
Okay.
We've heard how money can cause problems in relationships and even bring danger.
Right.
But what about, like, the internal stuff? How does winning so much money change someone's mind and emotions?
You know, it's funny. We always dream about winning, like picturing vacations and fancy cars.
Yeah.
But we never really think about how it would change our minds and feelings.
It's so true. We always focus on the outside stuff, but the inside changes just as much.
Yeah.
And sometimes not in a good way. There's a thing called the winner's curse,
Okay.
where people who win the lottery, instead of being happy, they actually feel worse.
Winner's curse. Sounds kind of scary. Is that like some bad luck thing?
Not exactly. It's more like a mind trick.
Yeah.
Winning a ton of money can bring up all kinds of feelings, good and bad.
Okay.
Like excitement, sure, but also anxiety, fear, guilt, even loneliness.
Wow.
It's like being thrown into a whole new world with no map or anything.
I can see how that would be a curse. You're suddenly famous. Everyone wants something from you.
Yeah.
And you have to make all these big decisions.
Exactly. And you lose that normal life. You're not just you anymore.
Right.
You're the lottery winner. And that can be a lot to handle.
Yeah.
It can mess up relationships, cause people treat you differently,
Yeah.
and even make you paranoid and not trust anyone.
Right, because now you have to wonder, are they really my friend or do they just want my money?
Exactly. And even if they are your friend, it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
It makes you doubt everyone, and that can make you feel lonely and unhappy.
Wow.
And then there's the pressure of what to do with all that money. A lot of winners haven't dealt with that much before, and not knowing how to handle it can be super stressful.
Yeah. Even if you're careful and smart, having millions of dollars is a lot to deal with.
It is. It's like someone handing you the keys to a spaceship with no training.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You might know how to start it, but can you actually fly it?
Right.
You need to learn a whole new set of skills, understanding investments, taxes, planning for the future.
Yeah.
And without that knowledge, it's easy to make mistakes or fall for those get-rich-quick schemes that never work out.
So we've got loneliness, paranoia, money stress, and people trying to take advantage of you.
Yeah.
It's like winning the lottery is a recipe for a breakdown. Is there any way to avoid all this?
Totally. That's why it's so important to be mentally and emotionally ready. If you're going to play the lottery, don't just dream about winning.
Okay.
Think about the whole picture, like the challenges and how you'll handle them.
So instead of picturing myself on a beach,
Yeah,
I should also picture myself dealing with lawyers and maybe even a therapist.
exactly. It's about being proactive and having a support system before you need it.
Okay.
It's like training for a marathon. You wouldn't just buy running shoes and go, right.
No.
You'd have a training plan, find a coach, work your way up. Winning the lottery is the same. It takes preparation, guidance, and knowing yourself.
Makes sense. So what would be in a mental fitness plan for someone who wants to win the lottery?
Well, first, have a good relationship with money. Don't think of it as the answer to everything
Okay.
or something that makes you a better person. Think about your values, your goals,
Right.
and how money can help you live a better life, not be your life.
Yeah, it's easy to think money equals happiness, but we've seen that's not true.
Totally.
Yeah.
And that leads to the next thing. Learn how to deal with stress and anxiety. Winning can be super stressful.
Yeah.
So it's crucial to have healthy ways to cope, like meditation, exercise, therapy, whatever works for you.
Right. Even good stress can be bad if you don't know how to handle it.
Exactly. It's like if you get your dream job,
Yeah.
you'd be excited, but also nervous,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
You'd need ways to deal with the pressure. And speaking of staying grounded,
Yeah.
that's another big one. Keep those good relationships with people who really care about you.
Okay.
They'll support you, give you honest advice,
Right.
and help you stay true to yourself no matter how much money you have.
Because those are the relationships that will last, even when the money's gone.
Exactly. Okay, so we've got a healthy view of money, ways to handle stress, and good people around us.
Yeah.
What else?
What else should we be thinking about?
Don't be afraid to ask for help from professionals.
Okay.
A therapist can help you with all the emotional stuff, a financial advisor can help you manage the money,
Right.
and a lawyer can protect you and your money.
It's like putting together a team of experts to help you through this crazy new world.
Exactly. You wouldn't climb Mount Everest without a guide, right?
Yeah.
So don't try to handle millions of dollars without expert help.
Good point.
And lastly, take care of your body. Winning the lottery can change your lifestyle. You might travel more, eat fancier foods, and exercise less. Make sure you still exercise, sleep well, and eat healthy.
Like they say, health is wealth, right?
You got it. It's all about balance and realizing that being truly well off is about more than just money.
Okay, I'm feeling a lot more prepared to handle a lottery win now. We've talked about the problems, the mental impact, and even made a plan for future winners.
We did.
But the video also had some really scary stories where winning led to betrayal, violence, even tragedy.
Yeah, you're right. It's important to remember that not every winner goes through that.
Okay,
There are plenty who use their winnings to make good changes in their lives and for others.
that's good.
In the next part, we'll look at those stories of hope and see how some people manage to do things right after winning.
I like the sound of that. Let's see what we can learn from the people who handled their winnings well. Welcome back to our deep dive. We've looked at what can go wrong when you win the lottery, like spending too much, fights with family and friends, and even dangerous situations. But now, let's focus on something more positive. Are there any winners who not only held onto their money but actually made their lives better?
You bet. The video we watched focused on the bad stuff, but tons of lottery winners out there have used their money responsibly and built really good lives.
Okay, good.
They made smart investments, helped their communities, and basically used their wealth to do good things.
That's awesome. I was starting to think that winning the lottery was a one-way ticket to trouble.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's easy to focus on the negative, especially with something like this.
Yeah.
But we got to remember that everyone's different. Just because some folks messed up doesn't mean everyone will. Lots of people handle their winnings with, like, smarts, wisdom, and generosity. And their stories have a lot to teach us, even if we never win big ourselves.
Okay, so let's hear about those success stories. What are some things these winners did right, to avoid the problems we talked about?
Oh, one thing I noticed is that they stayed grounded. They saw their winnings as a chance, not a free pass. They knew money was a tool, not a magic wand. And they treated it with respect and purpose.
That makes a lot of sense. Like if you suddenly win $1 million, it'd be tempting to think, I'm set, time to chill on a beach forever.
Right.
But that kind of thinking doesn't usually lead anywhere good.
Nope. And that's where having a vision for your future comes in. Successful winners, they often have a plan. Goals they want to reach, people they want to help, dreams they want to chase.
Okay.
That sense of purpose keeps them focused and helps them avoid just spending carelessly or going crazy with the I gotta have it now stuff.
Yeah, winning the lottery isn't just about having more cash. It's about having the power to build a life that you actually want, one that reflects your values and dreams. It's about taking charge and using your resources to make a real difference in the world.
I like how you put that. And, a lot of times that involves learning about money and getting advice from experts. The winners who do well usually get help from financial advisors, lawyers, mentors, people who can help them manage their money wisely, make good investments, and keep it safe from risks or scams.
It's like putting together a team of pros to guide you through all the complicated money stuff. You wouldn't climb Mount Everest without a guide, right? Same goes for managing millions of dollars. You need expert help.
Absolutely. And it's not just about protecting their money. It's about protecting themselves. Many smart winners also take care of their mental health.
Okay.
They go to therapy or counseling to help them deal with the emotional roller coaster of suddenly being rich and to help them stay balanced.
It's like what we talked about before, winning the lottery can really mess with your head. It's so important to have support both from pros and from the people you love to help you through those tough times and stay grounded when everything's changing around you.
You're right on the money. And speaking of support, something else I saw in the winners who did well is that they valued their relationships. They put their families, friends, and communities first because they knew that's where real happiness comes from, not from piles of money.
I feel that. At the end of the day, it's our connections with other people that give our lives meaning. Money can give you freedom and chances to do things,
Yeah,
but it can't replace the feeling of belonging and sharing life with others.
that's so true. It reminds us that real wealth is about way more than just dollar signs. It's about creating a life full of love, purpose, and connection. and money can't buy those things.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the most important thing you want our listeners to remember?
I think the big takeaway is that winning the lottery, yeah, it's a huge life change, but it doesn't automatically make you happy or sad. It's like being handed a chance to make something great.
Yeah.
But you got to be smart about it. You need a good plan, a level head, and you got to stay true to yourself and what matters most to you.
It's like being given a blank canvas and some paints. You can create something amazing, or you can just make a mess. It's your call.
Love it. That's the message we should all take away. Winning might depend on luck, but what you do with that luck, how you handle the good and the bad that comes with it, that's what really shapes your story.
That's a great way to put it. Well, I think we really dug deep into this topic. We explored the excitement of getting rich quick, the dangers, the mental gymnastics, and how to build a happy life after hitting the jackpot. Thanks for joining us on this journey. We hope you learned a lot, maybe even changed how you think about money and happiness. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep diving deep.